Hello. Greetings, greetings, Instagram community. I am Samiksha, and today's Instagram Live International IT Talk is a deep dive into the world of content marketing platforms, especially in the realm of IT. Before we kick off this enriching session, let's have a warm welcome for our esteemed guest, Mrs. Rachana Bhattacharya, Senior Director, Content Operation and Enablement at Pfizer. With a wealth of expertise in various fields, she is a result driven, customer centric, pragmatic leader with 25 years of experience in an outstanding record of leading and delivering global science and technology initiatives across diverse industries like airlines, finance, utilities, manufacturing, and life science. She has been with Pfizer, one of the leading global pharma companies, for last 10 years where she currently leads marketing technology platform operation team responsible for delivering and optimizing technology platforms through which the end-to-end marketing content supply chain runs. She has also supported blockbuster oncology drugs and vaccines in the past. A strategic partner recognized for her insightful leadership and collaboration with senior leaders and key cross-functional stakeholders. She excels in building and managing teams, producing scalable, purposeful capabilities to deliver optimal business outcomes. She embraces a growth mindset and thrives in agile execution with strong learning agility and communication skills, particularly experience in delivering critical information, driving consensus across all levels. She started her career in data science, developing and improving database and business intelligence reporting and analytical applications. Leading software engineering and business delivery teams, she enabled large organizations such as United Airlines, Federal Reserve Bank, Delta Airlines, and Miami University implement mission critical systems serving business critical needs. Always keeping up with evolving technology and strategic business needs, her responsibilities grew to deliver enterprise-wide strategic projects. She pivoted to design and establish project management offices across multiple geographies and stood up functional verticals to manage portfolios of technology projects for multiple lines of business like sales, operations, finance, and HR. She was honored with award and recognition for leadership in successfully turning failing projects around. She even started her own consulting firm, working with clients like Walgreens, Navistar. She managed a multi-million dollar integration of Walgreens' largest acquisition, Dawn Rate, across HR, legal, marketing, retail or pharmacy operations, and IT, and managed a finance transformation portfolio to implement business intelligence, improve and automate strategic planning of forecasting process, and deploy cutting-edge financial systems. Hospira recruited her to a permanent position as the R&D PMO lead, where she drove improvements in project management capabilities for drug development projects. She also led cross-functional executive leadership governance to drive decision-making and action planning on product portfolios and operating plans. After Pfizer acquisitions, she was the lead planner for critical drug submission projects, making Pfizer proud of five approved biosimilar products, which are low-cost biologics, thus saving billions of dollars in healthcare costs for patients. Wanting to strengthen her commercial experience, she moved to commercial operations as the business lead of bringing in leading service delivery platforms, where she was honored with award of transforming customer experience by leading the global implementation of Salesforce Service Cloud to enable fulfillment of on-demand sales and marketing services. Her journey continues as she champions agile methodology of managing product increment and sprints using cutting-edge tools like JIRA, Kanban boards, and interactive Miro boards. She holds a master degree in business information technology from DePaul University, a bachelor's in chemistry from Delhi University, and APMP certified. She lives in Chicago with her husband and her dog. She has various interests from fitness to art and loves to volunteer charitable causes. She is passionate about giving back to her community by mentoring aspiring professionals and giving talks and guest lectures at local universities. We are in for a treat today. Welcome, Rachana ma'am, and I would like to know how's everything at your end.
Thank you, Samiksha. That was an amazing introduction. It's my pleasure to be here. I am really excited to speak to all of you about marketing content technology platforms. And thank you so much again to Dr. Shubhi, Samiksha, and your partner in crime, Samisha, for hosting me today.
Thank you, ma'am. Samiksha, would you like to take over? Yes.
Oh, am I audible?
Yes.
Okay, so let's go ahead. So to set the stage, Ms. Rachana, could you update us on what content marketing platform enables, especially in content of IT, and how do you shape marketing strategies?
Good question. So to introduce this topic, right, the marketing content platforms essentially is a software or a set of software tools and application that really make the process of implementing any company's marketing strategy easy. You will also hear of the terminology called MarTech. It's an abbreviation for marketing technology because content marketing platforms are not one singular platforms. They're an ecosystem or a stack of tools integrated together. And what they do is they assist.
And
Thank you, Samiksha. That was an amazing introduction. It's my pleasure to be here. I am really excited to speak to all of you about marketing content technology platforms. And thank you so much again to Dr. Shubhi, Samiksha, and your partner in crime, Samisha, for hosting me today.
Thank you, ma'am. Samiksha, would you like to take over? Yes.
Oh, am I audible?
Yes.
Okay, so let's go ahead. So to set the stage, Ms. Rachana, could you update us on what content marketing platform enables, especially in content of IT, and how do you shape marketing strategies?
Good question. So to introduce this topic, right, the marketing content platforms essentially is a software or a set of software tools and application that really make the process of implementing any company's marketing strategy easy. You will also hear of the terminology called MarTech. It's an abbreviation for marketing technology because content marketing platforms are not one singular platforms. They're an ecosystem or a stack of tools integrated together. And what they do is they assist in the full end-to-end marketing process, which begins with a strategy. Your brand has a certain strategy to engage a certain target audience through the right message at the right time through the right channels. And in order to do that, they have to have certain tactics. So then that tactic becomes a plan or a brief, which is a contract of what exactly needs to be done for this particular strategy. Maybe it's a campaign, it's a digital campaign or an email campaign. So then for that plan, you need to create supporting content. You first create the building block contents, like maybe there are images, tables, text, right, videos, and then you assemble all of that together into the final piece of the document. And if you are in a regulated industry, that piece has to go through reviews to make sure it's compliant with all your policies. It's in pharma, it has to be compliant medically, legally, and by regulatory laws of the country where you're trying to market your product. So once it goes through that review, compliance happens, then you push it out through to all your channels where this content is relevant. Once that content is out there, then it starts generating engagement with the audience, which provides a lot of analytics data. So the second part of the question was, how do they shape the marketing strategy, right? So It's a little bit of a chicken and an egg thing. Did the chicken come first or the egg? So there's a lot of data in the commercial landscape that is available. It doesn't have to be your data, the company's data. It is industry data. And there are service providers and tools today that harmonize all of that data and provide insights. Maybe it's about your disease area, oncology, or it's about certain rare disease, right? It gives you a deeper understanding of your market needs, and companies use that to shape their brand strategy. That strategy then is broken down into multiple tactics. Like we'll run an email campaign with our group of physicians here in this city, and then we will run social media campaigns. So it's multiple tactics. So that tactic, and as I explained, then it goes through the content creation, assembly, review, publication. And then once it's out there, it starts generating a load of analytical data that gets compiled together, and that again helps shape and fuel the strategy, optimize the strategy, and make it even better the next time on. So I hope this gives you an understanding of what the platforms enable and how it is linked to the marketing strategy.
Yes, ma'am. I think it was easiest, way to articulate things. And thank you so much. Moving on, because there are, so complications, there might be many tools in this field. And could you shed some light on which are the leading tools in the same context and what sets these tools apart from each other?
Absolutely. So I would say that there's been a lot of evolution in this space in the last 8 years. So 8 years or so back, there was about, like, let's say 150 tools. And if anybody wants to guess, I know some of you have the answer already. In this day and age, the number of MarTech tools has evolved to, any guesses? Okay, well, since you guys know, I'll reveal it. It's about 8,000, right? So it's a lot. So as I explained, it's a stack of tools integrated together. There are some leaders in the pharma industry, and I will give the disclaimer that I am not being compensated by any of these companies. Whoever I'm going to mention is just based on my own experience and independent research. But before I dive in, I want to talk about the characteristics of these tools, the platforms, and the ecosystem. The first thing is the workflow. So I explained about the strategy has to be converted into a tactic. So there has to be a workflow where the strategy has to be captured, and it has to almost be supported with a project management or a task management tool so that you can capture a plan, right? And break it down into, these are my tactics. So that's one. So second is the storage. So once you start executing your tactic, you need to start creating content, or maybe use content that already exists. So you have to store your content. There are building block contents, and then there are, larger content that is comprised of several building block contents. So typically you will hear this terminology called digital asset management, or DAM. That is a great way. It's almost like a repository or a library which allows you to store, tag. It also is integrated with search engine optimization. It allows you to modularize. So it's a feature that you should have in your marketing technology to store and maintain the hygiene of your content. So you don't always have to go from scratch. You can always reuse. You can gain even more insights. You have metadata around the content. So that's there. And then there has to be integration with all these creative tools that allow you to create content. Like I'll talk a little later about generative AI, but there has to be creative tool integration, and there's not Adobe, for example, has a bunch of creative tools. But there's also print in design tools. You need tools to create print media content. So if you can integrate with your creative tools, that's great. I mentioned about data analytics, so it's always good to connect your tools to a reporting and analytics platform so that you're continuously pumping and saving your data. And then it has to be a good taxonomy. It's basically a system to classify that metadata that you're capturing about about all your marketing, your workflow of the marketing, your campaign, your content, everything. So now diving into what are some of the leaders in the pharma space. So I would say that there's no one emerging leader. So these companies or these softwares, they all have their strengths and weaknesses. So let's talk about Salesforce. Okay, Salesforce has a really good, it has a strong capability to modularize content. So, and it has a good identity and permission management and personalization capabilities. It also has data lake and analytics, so it can be connected very easily with things like Tableau, which help you visualize the outcomes. It's starting to dive into machine learning that is helping with AI enablement, but where it really is good, but I would say it's made its mark is in the journey orchestration part. Um, and I will talk about it when I explain, what the trends, but these are some of the features. There's Adobe. Adobe has a great digital asset management system. It has a great workflow. It's called, and it also has an AEM, which is the DAM, right? So Adobe is great there. It has a suite of tools, creative tools, but it's a little spread across. It's fragmented. So of course, companies have to invest in integrating everything. Right? Then there is Viva. Viva has a great CRM feature capability, and it has a great capability in regulated markets to review through policies, right? So especially in the pharma landscape, where you have to have it reviewed medically by your regulatory body, by your legal for compliance. So it can be very easily set up in Viva. So these are the leading tools. There are some small players also that are emerging. Like I think HubSpot is something that it gives you a good blogging capability and search optimization, but it's more targeted for social media, email marketing, marketing automation and analytics. So I hope this gives you an idea of what's out there.
So absolutely, ma'am, it was a great discussion. And as you mentioned, Viva. So even when I was working in GSK, 2 years, I was dependent on Viva. So my every work
Perfect.
was, in and out related to Viva. So it was like I could connect everything what you said. And one
Perfect.
thing you mentioned was AI. So I wanted to know. So let's delve into AI. So as you know that
Yeah.
AI is a game changer. And so I wanted to know how AI is helping in content marketing and how it is influencing content marketing. And do you have any examples of AI driven features that are making a significant impact in content marketing?
Yeah, it's a great question. And AI is all the rage now. Everybody is producing an AI tool. I would say that it's not just AI, it's AI and broad AI, because by definition, AI is mimicking a human brain. But today's AI tools are doing more than that. They're actually automating, increasing throughput and capacity. Okay, so it's more to do with getting more and more at scale rather than thinking like a human brain. And I'm not talking about an average human brain that has an IQ of somewhere in the hundreds. It's even beyond that, right? Um, so let me give you some examples of where AI is helping. First of all, content creation. I mentioned generative AI. It's a way to create new and original content such as images, videos, and text, and you can't distinguish between that AI has created it or it's been created by some humans. Okay, so where this helps is it augments the creative process of content creation. So you can do it much faster than traditional ways. No, traditional ways, you go to an agent, you give your brief to an agency, the agency starts using their tools and putting all the content together. That's the traditional way. AI, it can learn fast, adapt, and it can create not only much faster to meet the audience need, but it can create it in large volumes. So that means more content with better personalization, and hence it becomes more relevant to patients and consumers. So that's one area where AI, I do think, is making its mark, generative AI. Then the other area is automating tasks. So we talked about Viva, how Viva enables review and approval process. So imagine that your pharma companies have so many policies. Then on top of it, there are these governing body regulation. FDA has it. Everybody has all their compliance policies. So if you feed all these policies in, let's say a great software tool like Viva, it can, and it had a machine learning capability, right? It could fact check your content before it goes through MLR, and it could flag non-compliance very fast, right? So it could save you time there. So that's another area where AI is helping. It's like it's helping you reduce the cycle time it takes from creating the content to really getting it approved. Okay. Then there are other use cases I can talk about in AI. One is, it can help in simulating scenarios. So before you can pinpoint which strategy is going to work for you, you can run it through AI simulations and understand. There is a lot of investment right now in chatbots that engage with patients in interactive channels, and they're all collecting data. They're teaching patients, they're empowering patients. So what they're doing here, AI is helping in the patient engagement to make the patient, who is an audience here, take some action, which then they can track, and then they can feed it back to the marketing strategy. So that's another area. And of course, the last thing I will say is that about AI is that AI has to be governed. It is not a replacement for humans. So AI has to be responsible and ethical. So something like, you cannot replace a detective with an AI, right? Because you might incriminate an innocent person. So you cannot replace investigations with AI. Similarly, you cannot replace hiring. You cannot say, AI, go hire my candidate. You have to have a human involved. So there are some laws. In fact, in Europe right now, they just enacted a provisional law that bans risky AI technology like facial recognition or emotion tracking and manipulation. And they've created a new board and rules. They are going to oversee the governance of that, and make sure that all of the companies that are producing AI products, they go through those rules. It's like presenting your case before you are allowed to launch your AI product. This has only happened in Europe right now. It is really to protect the fundamental rights and pave way for ethical AI, but many times it is also raising questions about limiting the potential. So there's an argument right now going. But I just wanted to end my answer there with saying that, yes, there are very good use cases, but then we have to put our checks and balances. So I hope that helped clarify the usage of AI in marketing.
Yes, ma'am. It is very much clear. I see, like you mentioned about how fast AI can do our work rather than, depending upon the traditional channel. Although it is quite challenging about like AI, and Europe is the pioneer to at least address this problem and set a rule. And let's hope other countries start doing those too. Moving on, analytics play a crucial role in gauging performance. And how do content marketing platform leverage data analytics to measure the success of marketing campaigns? Are there specific metrics that stand out in IT marketing?
Yeah, great question. So let's talk about campaigns, right? Campaigns are running on specific channels. It could be social media, or it could be YouTube. So when they are running, they enable an action. So maybe you're watching a video on YouTube and you click on something that drives a site visit. Okay, so that's a metric. So what platforms do is they embed a tracing mechanism in dynamic content such as this, that help collect large amounts of data about that interaction with the content. So let me give you a simple example in retail to really explain how data analytics can help here. So when you receive, let's say, you receive an email about a sale from your favorite clothing site, highlighting some pieces that are fit perfectly with your style, and you decided to click on it. on the email. Okay, it directly takes you to the product page, and where you are able to read reviews, and then you say, oh, I like this, it's a good deal, and I'm going to add it to my shopping cart. You add it, but then other things happen and you get distracted. The next day, you receive a reminder email that, hey, your product is still sitting in your shopping cart, or hey, your shopping cart is not going to check it out itself, so prompting you to take an action. Now, you didn't log into the product site. What you did was clicked on the email. So that tracing mechanism was able to correlate that it's you. Okay. Now, had you checked it out, had you checked the product out and paid for it, it would be counted as an action. Okay. So this is the other metric. How much action has happened, right, through the engagement? How many specific channel clicks that drove to site visits that generated purchases? Now, in the realm of pharma, that could mean how many new prescriptions were written as a result. So that could be the action or the metric to be captured. Now, let me take it a step further. Say in the same retail example, okay, this example I'll try to explain how your demographic, your geography, your purchase behavior can be harmonized and tracked to improve the marketing campaign. So let's say, how often do you shop? In what colors do you pair? And does your shopping habit correlate to any other habit? Let's say, you take public transportation and you like to browse during your train ride. So these things can be correlated and they trigger new ideas for campaigns. So now that the product will show up at the time when you're taking your train in your social media with the styles that, with the colors that you like to pair. So it will try to bring you close to an action. So you will click on it, and that's how they target ad on your social media. And so you see how in this example that they're using analytics to personalize, to target, improve their campaign, to prompt actions. So these are some of the metrics, and in pharma, like I said, there are other very technical metrics. I will not go into that today. We will need a different talk for that. But with simple example, I've tried to explain to you like how can data and analytics power decision making and strategic decision making in making a marketing campaign successful.
Yes. So recently, I was, searching for a pair of pants, and I really liked that one. But I couldn't find it again because I forgot to put it into my this bag. But I was so sure that the AI, like the technology, will definitely give me an ad about it very soon. And
Yeah.
I actually found it again in the ad. So I can totally understand like how critical this data analytics and how brands are using it. There's another question. Um, yes. So Patil, do you want to add something?
No, you can take over.
Correct. So switching the gears a bit, user experience is vital. And how do this platform ensure user-friendly interface? And how seamlessly do they integrate other marketing tools and technology?
Yeah, it definitely the experience of your consumer or your audience, your users who are using the platform is very important, right? So traditionally, when you say user experience, simple user experience, it has to be intuitive. It has to be fewer clicks, easy to navigate. It should give you good feedback. It should not be a burden. It should not require you to have specific technological skills to use that platform. So first, who are the users of these platforms? It's the marketers or the creative people, the leaders who are setting the strategy, the analysts who are reporting out, the medical legal review colleagues in pharma, right? They're also the users of this. I feel that so to be easy, there has to be some certain aspects of self-service. You should be able to serve yourself without going through a lot of training, right? But I feel this is an area where we are lagging behind in MarTech. It is not very intuitive still. And self-service, especially in pharma and marketing, is not very prevalent. Today, many pharma companies use strategic and creative agency to do a lot of the heavy lifting. Okay, because it's hard to use these tools. To build an email campaign, you need a team to set it up first, and then you connect it with an automation platform that you can push of a button, it can recurringly send it to your leads and everything, right? But to set it up, it requires technical skills today. So I would say that this is an area where we have an opportunity, and the user experience is quite fragmented, and that's reflected with the adoption metrics. So recently I was reading the Gartner report on how well adopted are marketing technology platforms in the industry, and the adoption number is not very high. Okay, so that I think we have ways to go here, and companies are investing a lot of funds in UX now. They have teams, customer experience teams, that look at the end-to-end process and try to simplify things. AI is coming into play now to try to simplify things, to take the burden away from the users of these systems. But I feel strongly that students and people who are in the research field can and make great impact by deep diving into this aspect, especially of MarTech. And they can, I think that people who have this time and they're passionate about it, these would make some really, the UX improvement and customer experience improvement of technical platforms, they make for a great project and great study area, or even a thesis area, what have you. So I hope that answered, and I'm happy to answer any follow-up questions if the audience has any.
Yes, ma'am. So it was indeed a great explanation. So I could relate because we have our friends who are in research. So that is a great point of discussion or a recommendation we can put up in front of them. As in a field of pharma, they can add on with their more expertise and bring AI and technology at a greater extent in pharma. So further moving, so looking ahead, what trends do you foresee in content marketing platform? And where do you see future heading towards in technological advancement and AI?
Yeah, that's great. I'll address the AI aspect first. So the trends in AI are definitely generative AI, like I explained, to create more content, better personalized content ethically, but also machine language to improve these AI models. Okay, I was mentioning that machines are what? Basically, they learn based on all the information provided to them, and then they develop this. You're trying to develop a neural network for them. So I think this is a trend in MarTech that will grow to improve personalization. So machine learning is becoming very important trend. There's a lot of work still to be done, but I do think it will take off. The other area is where AI bots are trending, definitely making it easy for you to gather and interpret huge amounts of data in seconds. And this really helps content marketers to learn more about their audience and deliver the content that they want. Right? So instead of waiting for reports from these service providers to see the trends and the patterns and then have a discussion, and that's a traditional way. Here, in a matter of seconds through AI, you can get insight on demand, right? So that's really cool. Then I think the one new thing that is trending is a social listening platform where, so we were live on Insta for a bit, right? And let's say there was an AI bot listening, they would have captured how many times brand name was mentioned and correlated with other words mentioned to draw some insight. So that social listening is another thing. And this is not just on videos, it can also happen on text and images. So that's another trend. And then social media. Within social media, I would say that Instagram is a great example of where marketing is trending, right? Because they are bringing out new features for users to publish content and engage with their audience, especially with stories. Like every time they bring up some new feature or something. So I would say that definitely is trending. Now, if I can dive into more like serious marketing in the MarTech area, what is so there is this terminology called next best action, okay, or journey orchestration. So this is an area which is now a lot of companies are investing and doing projects on. What it really means is that it enables a organization to tailor and sequence their interaction with the customer. So let's go back to the retail example. Let's say that you had put the pants in your cart and you forgot about it, right? But the next best action engine will know that, and they will, when you next time, let's say, go to even a professional site like LinkedIn, let's say, you know it will show you an article about the company that where which you really like, and it will talk about how so influence you. It will try to influence you. So it's sequencing the action to get you close to the purchase. So in terms of pharma, it is like sales rep. They are given they have content to present to the physicians, right? To make them aware of the pharma products, and then they interact with the headquarters, let's say. So next best action is that now the follow-up calls. It will give you a script of exactly what to say in the follow-up, because now they already know 5 things. They've had some mandate from top down. Now you cannot push them like that. You have to do it softly, but you have to give. So this is an area which is now a lot of companies are investing and doing projects on. What it really means is that it enables a organization to tailor and sequence their interaction with the customer. So let's go back to the retail example. Let's say that you had put the pants in your cart and you forgot about it, right? But the next best action engine will know that, and they will, when you next time, let's say, go to even a professional site like LinkedIn, let's say, it will show you an article about the company that where which you really like, and it will talk about how so influence you. It will try to influence you. So it's sequencing the action to get you close to the purchase. So in terms of pharma, it is like sales rep. They are given they have content to present to the physicians, right? To make them aware of the pharma products, and then they interact with the headquarters, let's say. So next best action is that now the follow-up calls. It will give you a script of exactly what to say in the follow-up, because now they already know 5 things. They've had some mandate from top down. Now you cannot push them like that. You have to do it softly, but you have to give them even more relevant information. So this next best action is a concept that is definitely trending, and I think is again another great topic to study in detail.
Yes, ma'am. So, I am from the pharma background, and we have worked with some of the MNCs, and I totally relate with whatever you said. How sales rep visit, and they collect the database, and AI can help us to for the follow up calls. Correct. Now, I am very curious how the due to the regulating landscape that is associated with the pharma companies. So, how do successful content marketing strategies ensure providing valuable information to HCPs and consumers while adhering to all the strict compliance requirements? So, can you share some of the examples of effective campaigns within these constraints?
Yeah, absolutely. So yes, pharma marketing has very stringent regulation compared to other consumer products, because the company has to be very cognizant about the legal issues that might arise. They have to comply with the regulatory bodies laws. They have to gather evidence. There's a long, as you're from the pharma industry, so you know there's a long process of getting a drug officially submitted and approved in that market, right? So that it takes years. um, so marketing has to be very responsibly done, and marketing content therefore has to go through very stringent reviews before it can be published in a channel. Now, platforms cannot just take the responsibility, the company has to. So there has to be governance. The content has to have some sort of a governance review, right? Done by the company. And platforms facilitate that process. And I was giving you an example about how the medical legal review can be accelerated, not replaced by AI, but accelerated. You can reduce the cycle time by fact checking some common errors ahead of time, right? So that can be done. But this is by the marketing platform, but the regulations, you cannot bypass the regulations. So the companies have to definitely invest a lot in their governance, not just product to product, but across all their portfolios, all of their therapeutic areas. And definitely marketing platforms can just enable that process. Review platforms can facilitate that process, but they cannot take the ownership of the AI tools cannot take the ownership of that decision. So that's why it's harder for pharma to market something. So let me give you an example of a successful marketing campaign in pharma now. I'm sure some of you might have heard of Ozempic or Wegovy. If not, it's actually a type 2 diabetes drug, but in the last couple of years, it's become very popular as a weight loss drug. Now, it just shot up. How did that happen? And did Novo Nordisk, which is the manufacturer, they really plan it that way? Not really. So the weight loss is actually a side effect. It's a positive side effect of this drug. So what happened was that when this side effect was seen in many of the patients, prescriptions started growing, not outside of diabetes. So physicians started prescribing it for weight loss. And so obviously that started generating data. So what happened is that there are these telemarketing, or I would say telemedicine companies, okay, that tapped on and they were promoting that with our service of providing you advice and about your health, we'll give you prescription for Ozempic. So there's a startup company called Ro. It's probably one of the many telehealth companies that provides medication. They started providing medications, and they heavily invested in ads, in digital media, in social media. In fact, in New York City, which has subway system, right? There were over 100 subway stations where Ro had this telemedicine offering with large posters of influential weight loss, things about image and your fitness level. And then what happened is there were ads run by the actual manufacturer. I would say encourage people to look up this drug and YouTube their ads and see how they were, they were talking about diabetes, but then every patient story that came in, they were repeating, and it gave me weight loss, and it gave me weight loss, so they kept repeating, influencing. In fact, they even worked with celebrities like Elon, or no influencers like Elon Musk, saying, "Oh, we use this medicine for weight loss, and I've achieved great results." So now, what they didn't directly. So how did they do this? Right, the campaign was not directly for weight loss, because at some point it was not an approved drug for this indication of weight loss. It was approved for diabetes. So what was happening was they were able to get their content approved for the main indication, marketing content improved, and then they were able, these telemedicine companies that were providing advice, because they have a myriad of issues that they can advise on. They started kind of saying that then okay, this drug has this positive side effect, and we will give you a prescription for it. So it was an indirect way of a successful campaign. And now a lot of companies are actually directly investing in getting the drug not only made for weight loss, but also approved for weight loss as an indication. Right now it is in syringe form, so it's a hard thing, right? You're scared of poking yourself. If it was in a pill form, it would be even easier. So a lot of companies are now trying to make that drug. But this is a great example of where you can use parallel, like collaborate with other companies and parallel services, okay, in other industries. Use celebrities, use a lot of influential campaign tactics to make a drug successfully marketed. I mean, there are many other examples where, you know, especially with arthritis, and it's more human based, where you see the ads on TV, they will show you how the quality of life is deteriorates when a patient in a certain age has arthritis or even Alzheimer's, for example. So many companies use that connecting the personal human connection. So that's another tactic also. But again, they have to stick. They can't just directly go out and say, oh, we saw 90% of the cases achieved weight loss, so we're going to go and promote it for weight loss. They cannot promote it like that. They'll have to, like they work with companies like Noom. They are diet companies that offer you diet advice. Some may have heard of NOOM. Again, nobody's paying me here, so disclaimer. But so Noom also opened their own. They were advising on nutrition, but now they offer a telemedicine service, and they also started promoting that they can prescribe Ozempic, not without saying that it's for weight loss, but they can prescribe Ozempic. So I think it's indirect marketing, but sometimes it's necessary. But on the whole, pharma has to be very, very responsible, and they have to go through all the right steps and get their content approved before they can even market to the audience. So it can't just be anything. It has to be very fact-based. So yeah, those are some examples. I hope some of those examples resonated and made sense.
Really makes sense. I am very excited to see the oral form of Ozempic. I mean, it's the next minoxidil, I would say. In schools, whenever you join a pharma school, there's always, they give this example of minoxidil. Again, a positive side effect of hair growth. So similarly, I see the Ozempic is going on the same way, and I really like the example, and it gave a lot of insights throughout. Is there any questions in the audience, or Shubhi ma'am, if you want to join in?
Yes, actually, I'm listening to Rachana very carefully. And first, I was listening to her because I missed that Instagram live. So I was trying to listen, and she has given wonderful insights. If we can see the way she has talked, what you have to take from the keywords, what she is trying to convey to you, that what they are doing exactly is trying to find a correlation between the keywords and the company names, right, Rachna? That's what you conveyed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
one of them.
So there, actually, what data analysis is happening in the background, and they are trying to find out that which particular word is repeating for a company, and accordingly they are taking necessary decisions and actions. So that's what they are doing. I mean, they are diving deep into digital marketing, and beautiful examples she has given and quoted, and I would suggest that you can have multiple sessions with her, maybe live on platform, not IT Talks, but exclusively for the students, and you can come up with your volume of questions and ask her beforehand and come up with your doubts, what she's trying to convey. One thing I wanted to ask to Rachana, that we are doing a lot of social media analytics, which is happening here, and we try to find out the mood of people through Facebook, Insta, LinkedIn, and we try to put them in a bracket of certain keywords. Like if it is a picture, it is like awesome, congratulations,
Yep.
you are awesome. So can you just throw some light on that, the back end strategy, why they are doing this and how they are trying to do little bit of data cleaning beforehand?
Yeah,
And
absolutely. Yeah.
can you throw some light on that data cleaning part, how they are doing and why they are basically why they are putting everyone into a bracket so that they cherry pick only from the options which are available, and then they are trying to gauge the mood of people, what they
Yeah.
like, what they don't like. That's
Yeah.
my question.
It's a great question, Shubhi. My pleasure to talk about it. I don't claim to be an expert. I will give you my perspective. I think the first objective is to just gather as much data as they can. It's like sometimes also shooting in the dark. They're not, it's not perfect. Sometimes these categories, these brackets they put, they don't really make sense. But sometimes they do. And if when they do and it connects, the audience connects, and you pick that comment, or you say, yeah, the word awesome really resonated with the image and I'm going to pick it. What do you do next after that is what matters to them. As soon as you kind of, it's your foot in the door, you put your foot in the door, they got you. Now they will track what you do next, right? So, and then they can get even more data. So that's, I think that is the tactic behind, or the objective behind, is the engagement increase by getting you closer to taking an action, by giving you um, options that are tailor made. Not saves your time. You don't have to go through type so many words. You got uh, a nice comment and it made you look thoughtful. It made you look like you cared. You're going to pick it. As soon as you pick, you're in. And then what do you do next? Did you watch a reel next? Oh, you watched a reel of a puppy. You must be into pets. There you go. There's an ad about a shelter for adoption. So I think it's a lot of just trying to get you to act, engage with you, and see what you do next, and then use it to tailor and personalize more content to get you to do more, target certain things. In marketing terms, if that was the objective, then that's used to target even more and more. And social media is a great platform. You can do bite-size campaigns on social media, and that's why they are choosing social media to do this.
Yes, I got a good insight because even I keep on thinking that probably they are trying to take the giving us the answers beforehand, and then they are trying to find out what we are thinking about that. Maybe I have not seen any hate comments over there, only likes and positive comments are there. So if a person is actually not liking, he will type on his own. But they have somehow stopped taking the negative comments, and beforehand they serve you with so many answers, so many beautiful thank yous and awesome. And they are trying to understand the actual mood. Then if you are really not happy with the company or the product, then you will stop all that and you will lay your hands on the keyboard or on the mobile and type your actual comment. So is the same thing happening in the pharma marketing? Same thing. Have you observed this anywhere? Because that's a very critical product, like a medicine. So in the medicine, we have to be very careful. So how you all are doing the promotion of your medicines, if on social media? Because recently I conducted a survey. I conducted a survey recently. So in that survey, I found that online medicines are not very easily approached. I mean, students have conveyed that when it comes to medicine, they will go check and then they will take. And doctor's prescription is the most important thing. So, are you doing any such kind of thing on any of the portals, or maybe you're planning to do this for the medicine also?
So I think it's still in the pharma industry. This concept is slightly on the more traditional side. It's more influential. It's like not coming up with, so it's not so clear cut. Like you go into, let's say you go into Facebook as an example. There will definitely be ads about certain drugs. Okay, but if you, let's say you clicked on that and you try to put a comment, at least in my experience, I have not seen any tailored comments there coming up. It only happens mainly in the social, like if you are friends with somebody and you click on their image, then I have seen such features. But I have seen targeted ads. So there's definitely personalization and targeting, audience targeting. For example, I have a pet, right? And some time back, my dog had some injury, so I was just doing some research, and then when I went to Facebook, I could see there was some information, there were some links, news articles about it. So maybe that sort of thing is happening in the pharma. It's more to do with personalization than really trying to get a response out of you and use that for something else. I would say that at least to my knowledge, I don't think that we are there yet with pharma, because there's a lot of, as I was mentioning, there's a lot of rules and regulations to follow and compliance, right? You even to come up with a tailored a word that automatically appears for someone to choose as a comment, you have to make sure that that word is reviewed and approved for usage for that campaign. So there's a lot of heavy lifting before. So I feel that it's happening more in the consumer space rather than the pharma space.
I got my answer. I just wanted to confirm with you, because I have seen here maybe those products are general products, and you can take that, and that products will not have any side effects. So they are heavily promoted, and people get influenced, and with views and reviews and comments, uh, we do take those products when we are not well. So that's happening here, but definitely not for the actual medicines. I mean, I'm talking about the allopathic treatment. It's not.
Absolutely, I agree. I think over-the-counter medicine or things that have not been approved by that regulatory body of that market, right? There's so many vitamins, right? This vitamin is going to hair growth, make your skin better, right? Lose weight. Those, if they're not approved drugs, right, then they can do whatever they want, right? Nobody's I mean, they have to give a disclaimer that they're not approved. There has to be some packaging. But I think you're right. It's mostly in the over-the-counter and non medicinal products that have gone through a regulatory approval in that specific market.
So that was my question. It was a wonderful session. Samiksha, you can ask questions if you have.
I cannot. You're not audible, Samiksha.
You're on mute.
Yes, I was on mute. So we're talking about campaigns, and I remember Pfizer's vaccine campaign with Marvel, and that was this comic that came up. I saw it on your LinkedIn. That's very creative. I just wanted to appreciate it, and I think we are through. And ma'am, Rachna ma'am, if you think there's something that we didn't cover in the questions and you want to add up or something like that, or I'll move on to the keywords that I have taken up.
No, I think this was a very well-planned session. The questions were very thoughtful. They were the right questions. And this is the sort of, I really appreciate all the work that all of you put into thinking about what to ask, what to follow up, and even with Shubhi, your follow-up question. I think I really enjoyed this session. I honestly don't have anything else to add today. But just words of appreciation, and I thank the audience for being patient and listening. I know I've been talking for a long time, so thank you for listening as well.
So Samiksha,
I'm just adding few lines here so that after that you can conclude the session. I actually thank Rachana Bhattacharya for joining this session, and we are approaching her since 2022, if I'm not wrong. But it got clicked in 2023 because I had the right audience, as in Samiksha Singh and Samiksha Patil, both from pharma background. So, see, we have the dots are connected by someone else. So it was like that. At that time, the hosts were of different streams, and now the exact hosts are there. So we connected, and I really enjoyed the session. And I also enjoyed the way Samiksha Patil and Samiksha Singh connected, prepared the questionnaire, discussed with Rachana ma'am beforehand, and created a little WhatsApp group to have good coordination so that because there's a time gap in between USA and India. So all those efforts, the back end preparation have done, that was tremendous. And they even tried to connect live on Instagram. We could do a very good drill also 3 days back, but unfortunately we all wanted to be on the Google Meet, so we are here. And I also thank Shri Sunil Rane sir, Executive President of Atharva Group of Institutes, for giving us immense freedom to teach students in a play-way method. He always pays stress on innovative ways of teaching, because he always says that bookish knowledge and classroom teaching becomes very boring for the students. So bring some innovative ways, some very interesting ways, so that the students are also benefited, and we also gain some knowledge and we connect to people. So that's what he conveys, that stretch yourself and think beyond Atharva. Don't just think of Atharva. Think beyond and try to connect with the intellectual capital across the globe. So that's what message he has conveyed to us, and that on the same lines we are always trying to connect with uh, intellectual capital across the globe. So that's why we are with Rachana ma'am today. I also thank Dr. Henry, our director, for constantly motivating us to do IT talks on a regular basis so that we can have good connections. And I cannot forget to thank Mr. Vaibhav Patil and Miss Sakshi Jain. Sakshi Jain is class representative of first year, and Vaibhav Patil is head of the Department of Finance. And he is our regular listener for IT Talks, whether it is Instagram Live or Facebook Live or in the crisis like Google Meet. He is always present. So a big thank to Mr. Vaibhav Patil for attending the session. And he is a big time motivation for me, especially because if nobody is there, at least he is there to watch and give me the honest feedback. So I thank him for his presence over here. And over to you, Samiksha, now for the conclusion and the thanks.
Yes, yes, ma'am. That was a good, thank, but you forgot to mention to thank you, Dr. Shubhi Agarwal. Like you have been giving us such good platforms to, talk to such industry professionals and, gain that confidence to at least speak up and have insights. All the planning till the execution. We have learned a lot, and a big thanks to you. Definitely a very, very, very big thanks to Mrs. Rachana Bhattacharya for joining us today and giving us such valuable insights. Moving on to our viewers on Instagram, please follow IT Talk page and to stay updated. IT Talk live show is an initiative by TechnoAd Club and IQAC of Atharva Institute of Management Studies. And until our next talk show, let's stay curious and keep exploring the world of content marketing. See you next time.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So we call up this meeting. Thank you, Rachana.
Thank you. Well done.